Hello, and welcome to another episode of I'm on a CIA watch list with Cameron Langley. This episode's going to be about the latest stimulus bill, and by latest I mean the $900 billion one that was signed into law, I think earlier this month. Um, but we'll also go back and take a brief look at the CARES Act, and we might briefly talk about Joe Biden's new stimulus bill that he has put forward. So let's go back to the CARES Act. What did the CARES Act give Americans? I got pulled up right here. This is from a Forbes article. I'm going to link it in the description. But the direct payments, it was a one-time direct deposit, one time, of $1,200. Married couples received $2,400, plus an additional $500 per child, and that was available for incomes up to $75,000 for individuals and $150 for married couples. Gave $250 billion for an extended unemployment insurance program and expands eligibility and offers workers an additional $600 per week for 4 months on top of what state programs pay. And that 4 months was after this was signed into law in March. There's delay payment of portion of payroll taxes, use of retirement funds for coronavirus stuff. 401k loans increased from 50 to 100k. And there's some other stuff in here. Small business relief. There was $350 billion that was being dedicated. Of course, $500 billion was allotted to provide loans, loan guarantees, and other investments to large corporations. So large corporations got much more money than any of the small businesses that you may support. And there was $140 billion in appropriations for the U.S. health system, and state local governments received $150 billion. So this was the CARES Act. This was months ago. Now, mind you, most of this stuff didn't start, and you're going to get these payments on a regular basis until this pandemic is over. They definitely aren't starting a UBI with this pandemic. They don't want to do that in America. But the they didn't give us money for months, even though they only gave us a one-time payment of $1,200, something that for a lot of people isn't even going to cover rent. And so it took them until December to get another one out, and there was some opposition from Republicans and whatnot. But it feels like if this was a very important thing to Democrats, they would have been pushing nonstop, every day, all day. They would have been pushing for the payments to start with to be monthly instead of a one-time payment. So what's in the $900 billion stimulus package that they just signed? Well, unemployment benefits of up to $300 per week, down from $600 per week. $284 billion in first and second forgivable paycheck protection program loans for small businesses. And then I want to find on here the amount of money that they're giving to people, but it's not. Oh, here it is. $600 stimulus checks per person, including adults and children. That means a family of four would receive $2,400 up to a certain income threshold. So you're still not getting more than $2,400, even if you're a family of four, when you got robbed of that money for months and months and months and months. So, and this isn't a $600 retroactive check where you're going to be getting, you're going to be getting paid for the months that you got robbed. This is, again, a one-time payment. And then, they were fighting for $2,000 checks in this. Grants to Democrats, they were fighting for months for this. But, give them that, but they weren't fighting for retroactive payments. They weren't fighting for the first $1,400 to be a recurring thing. So They aren't fighting for Medicare for all in a pandemic. They aren't fighting for other protections for Americans. So they still aren't doing enough. Um, we'll see that when we look at Joe Biden's stimulus bill. But Bernie and Josh Hawley, who's a Republican, both pushed for $2,000 checks. Trump was pushing for $2,000 checks. It didn't happen. Um, Apparently, that was something that didn't get put in there because of the Republicans. Jobless benefits, I told you, at $300 per week. So this is the $900 billion stimulus package that they just passed this month or last month. And so it's still crumbs. It's not enough. They're acting like this will help people. Um, in the middle of a pandemic, it's sad that you see so many people that are losing their jobs, that are probably having to file bankruptcy, people that are having a difficulty with making ends meet during this crisis, and they think that all you need is first a one-time uh, $1,400 or $1,200 check, and then months and months and months later you can just deal with a $600 check. Now that's not it's not that's not where it completely ends off. There is the Joe Biden stimulus package, and I don't have the article for it up right now, but I will put it in the description. Um, it was $1,400 payments, again, one time. Um, and they say now it's 2,000 because if you add it to the 600 you just got, well, you've got $2,000. I call bullshit, and I still think they're robbing you. And of course, progressives are jumping up and down in joy right now because I guess they might have got a minimum wage increase into this Biden stimulus package, which in the middle of a pandemic where everybody's losing their jobs or their hours are getting cut, or uh, especially if you're a small business, I could actually see minimum wage hurting your small business right now. But for that to be the discussion, increasing the minimum wage now, no, that's not a win. You need to push for Medicare for all now. That's what progressives need to push for, but they're jumping in joy over this getting the minimum wage into Biden's stimulus package. And by the way, that'll probably go into effect somewhere in February. And you probably won't get your check until late February. So those are the three stimulus bills. And of course, in America, we've got what now? Less than 5K even in the entire time of stimulus payments. Other countries get a lot more. There are other countries that you can get up to $10,000, and people say, "How do you have where how would you pay for it?" Well, we pay for plenty of war during this. Um, the $900 billion stimulus package gave $30 million to democracy programs in Venezuela. Um, that's a fancy term for regime change. That's a fancy term for plotting a coup. Um, so that they also gave plenty of billions and hundreds of millions of dollars to different aid packages and to different foreign policy things around the world so that we can maintain our empire, but we can't maintain our actual nation at home and our people that are struggling. So, um, and I really think that these are crumbs. I don't think that you should rejoice anytime you see this stimulus check news. When you look at it and you say, bullshit, they're only giving me 600, or bullshit, they're only giving me 1,400. Um, don't go, well, it's Biden, well, it's the Democrats, so I feel good now. It's not Trump. Don't do that. You need to be mad. You need to go, why is the government giving me crumbs when we are the people that are keeping this country afloat during this crisis? Do they care about us, or do they think we're just worth $600? Or let's see, you got 2,000 added to the 1,200 means you got 3,200. 3,200 is what Americans received over this last year. That's crumbs. You should be angry about it, and you should be ready to do a general strike, because this is part of capitalism. They gave plenty of money to large corporations and to the war machine, but they didn't want to give money to you. They gave you cake crumbs, and they want you to bake a fucking cake for them later. I say, fuck the cake, general strike. Anyway, this has been this episode of I'm on a CIA watch list with Cameron Langley. See us in the next one.